This is Call Me Didi, a podcast all about empowering you to become your best self while having a bit of fun.
Didi? What do you mean by that?
Didi, like your virtual big sister.
Welcome to Call Me Didi, everybody. I'm your host, Diva.
And I'm your host, Sanchi, and let's get into today's episode.
Let's do it. Should we start with the highlight of the week?
Yes. Okay. So my highlight of the week is, by the way, you guys, we are recording from two separate continents because it was a very last moment decision. I came back home to India and Diva is still in Australia. And so basically, my highlight of the week was coming back home and surprising my family. My dad and my mom knew that I'm coming back home, but it was a surprise for my best friend and my brother. And it was so cute and wholesome, but jokes happened with me because my best friend surprised me instead of me surprising her because she saw my location and it was very funny.
Yeah, you should have done better than that. Now, who goes for a surprise and keeps their find my phone location, not find my phone, my find my friend's location on?
But if I would have stopped my location, she would know, she would get the notification. So,
But
I
no,
didn't know
but
she would
do you
go
get
around.
notifications?
Yes, you get notifications, and I was like, I didn't realize that she would go around checking my location every day. Like, that's so weird. So,
Yeah, that's interesting. She's a true friend, you know. She cares for your safety. She wants to know what you're doing, if you're all good.
exactly. That was what it is.
But cute, how do you feel being back in India?
It's really nice. Like today in the morning, I was sleeping and my dad came. He started waking me up and he was like, okay, I'll bring chai for you. And he brought chai for me in my sleep. And I was like, love it.
Cute.
Yes,
Oh,
I
by
know.
the way, so this morning, Sanchi messaged me. She's like, can we record 30 minutes later? And this was at 9 a.m. She's like, can we do 9:30 because we planned for 9 a.m. And yesterday, she said, let's do 8 a.m. And I said, there is no way in hell you're waking up at 8 a.m. when you're at home on vacation. She's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll wake up at 8 a.m. I was like, that's not happening. So my predictions were right. But cute.
Let's move on. What was your highlight of the week?
My highlight. So, I joined this app called Women's Health Movement. It's a strength training app. It does have other form of training as well, but I joined with strength training. And it's been so good using that app this week. Like it tells you exactly what the form you need to do while you're training. Because I've been, strength training for a while, and every time I used to go into the gym, I was like, hopefully my form is correct because I don't train with a friend or anything. So just using that app and following that structure and just like really investing myself into that has been so good. So, and I'm really proud because I followed the whole program this week. So that was really nice. I was like, oh, I'm so proud of myself.
Good job. That's really nice. I like that. And how's living alone?
Living alone is good. It's a bit up and down. The first few days, I was like, okay, what do I do with my life? And then I got into like a really big cleaning spree. So I went and cleaned the whole house. And then it's been nice. Some moments I'm like today I had a realization that I actually have so much time in my hands right now, which is so weird because I'm living the exact same life that when you're here, it's the same life, but I literally feel like I have more time to do things. And I don't know why that is, but that was an interesting insight. So it's nice. I feel like I've gotten more time to reflect as well because you're literally alone with your thoughts. So I think it's got its ups and downs. The winter here doesn't help. It's always raining outside, so it's a bit gloomy, the weather. But it's fine. It's life, And I think at the end of it, I feel like this is going to be good for me.
I was gonna say you should say that you miss me a lot, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sanchi. I can't say that's true right now.
Excuse me. I know it's true. You just don't want to accept it.
Okay, moving on. What are we talking about today?
I am very, very excited about today's topic because it's living in the present versus saving for the future.
Because this is obviously something that a lot of us struggle with. But I just want to preface anything we say with the fact that this is not advice that we're giving anybody. It's not financial advice. It's just us telling how we manage things in our 20s and how we navigate this issue that we face.
Yeah, because we are also still figuring it out and we are learning as we go. And that's what we are just talking about. What are our learnings and basically sharing that with you guys. Okay, so how did this topic come to idea is very interesting. What happened was we were going with a friend in a car and he's in his early 30s and he just mentioned that he's going on 3 different trips this year and by the end of the year he'll be broke. And we were just laughing and I was like, bro, you know what? This question comes to my mind a lot. Like a lot of the times I struggle with the fact that if I should like spend my money to live in the present and travel more and have more experiences, or should I just save for the future? And so I was like, oh, it'll be so
Yeah.
cool to talk about it because I feel like a lot of people do feel that way, especially in your 20s. You're like, I'm young, I want to travel, but I also want to save because you never know and all that stuff. So yeah, we just came up with
Yeah.
this topic.
And I feel like this hits differently depending on what side of 20s you are. Like if you're in your early 20s or your late 20s. So Sanchi's in her early 20s and I am unfortunately in my mid to late 20s. I'm not on the other side of late 20s. I'm like in the middle. But I'm definitely past 25. So how are you navigating this right now? What's your mindset around it?
It's interesting. So I feel like I navigate it very smartly. So what I do is I first figure out what are my priorities for this year or like what I want to experience as I'm young. I want to travel a lot as I'm young, right? And it's one of my biggest priority. And I don't want to put it to the later because I don't know how the situation will be, if my body will be capable enough or whatnot. So I like to divide my chunk of my money in a manner where I would keep 50% for my living expenses. That's just rent, utilities, groceries, all that stuff. But then the other 50% of my half, I divided in 3 further groups, which is I keep 10% in my emergency fund slash saving. That's for maybe like if you lose your job, like I have right now, or if like whatever, any emergency, you have that 10% saved for that. And then 20% is in my investments. Now that investment can be if you want to invest like properly in the stock market or save for your future house. Basically your money working for you and growing. So that 20% goes in that investment fund and then the rest 20% goes in my experiences fund slash travel fund. So I consciously save to experience and that's like a short term saving. So maybe like for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months so that I can use that money for a specific experience. Like if I'm going to a specific country, I'll save for that. And I feel like if I specifically keep that money for the experiences in the present, I have that good balance where I am saving for the future, but I'm also keeping some money for today and I'm enjoying my today. So that's like my current mindset with it. Like I feel like I have a good balance of living in the present but also saving for the future. So that's how I see it today, but I'm also in my early 20s. So I do prioritize traveling and experiencing more, just an FYI, which might not look like the same for you. And that's totally okay. Like if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and if you don't want to invest that much in traveling and stuff, maybe you can save less money for that and put more into your future goals or whatever.
Yeah, I like how you do it smartly, and I think that's a good way to approach it. I think, though, when you're in your late 20s, you start having way more responsibilities in life. Like, you start thinking about saving for a house because you'll start seeing a lot of your peers do that. And that's what's sort of been taught to us through our parents. It's like, save all your money, buy a house, get married, have kids, buy another house. And that's literally where all of the money goes. And that's what we've been taught so far. And it's normal to start feeling that pressure as well when you start seeing your peers do that. And automatically like, okay, now I also have to save for this. Okay, now my money also needs to go there. And I think that you just have more responsibilities in the sense that sometimes you have to look after your parents, for example. Sometimes you need to send money home for whatever reason, or you need to save for a rainy day, not just for you, even for your family. And that sense of responsibility tends to kick in often after you turn 25. Because before then you're like, okay, I'm just going to live my life. But having said that, I still think it's so important to live in the present because who knows what's going to happen in the future, man? Like, who knows what tomorrow looks like for you? But it's doing it smartly. The way I approach it is, I think of it as an investment than spending money.
Yes.
Is spending this money is just going to enrich my life in some way.
Mm.
So if it's either spending on an experience or sometimes I'll spend on clothes, but it makes me feel really good in that moment. It makes me feel really confident. So for me, it's okay, I'm investing this money into myself. In this moment, this is what I need. And this is what I need to look after myself and feel the most looked after by myself, I guess. So that's how I approach it. Money wise, I tend to spend whatever I have to day to day. And then most of my remaining money, I tend to invest and keep a little bit in liquid cash. And then for these experiences, I tend to tap into that liquid cash. I don't necessarily right now set goals, but whenever something comes up and I want to spend on it, I'm like, okay, fine. I have this money that I've kept aside. Let me use that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not afraid of using it. And I know so many of my friends struggle with this. It's like, okay, that person bought a house. That person just got engaged. That person is getting married. And you're like, I don't have money for all of this travel and, going to this musical. I don't have money for this because I have to save for that. But bro, like, you have one life. And you know what's exciting? Is that who knows what your life could look like 1 year from now? Who knows you start some sort of business which makes you a lot of money? Or, one of your investments takes off. Like Nvidia recently, it took off. And Bitcoin, for example. Who knows, bro? So just spend the moment. You could just land into a lot of money in the future.
Yeah, true. You know what? This makes me think that a lot of times we have this thought that we have to do something, that we have to save for the house or we have to save for our marriage, which is, to be honest, we do, but you don't have to put that pressure on yourself because you're not in a race. Like it's not, you're not competing against someone. It's you. So it's so important to sit and figure out what are the things that are important to you, not what other people around you are telling you, not what your parents tell you is important for you, or not what your peers tell you is important for you. You need to sit down and think, what are your priorities? Where do you want to spend your time and energy as you are young? And if you want to put that chunk of money in starting a business that you love, if you want to put that chunk of money to traveling or experiencing more things. So basically, sitting and figuring out what are your priorities, what fills your cup, rather than other people telling you you should spend your money on that. So if you know what's important to you, then it's easier to make decisions, because when something comes your way and you're like, okay, I have to spend money on this, you think, if this is one of your priorities, if this actually fills your cup or not. And if it does, it's worth to spend money there. And if it does not, then who cares? Just leave it. So I think it's very important to figure that out, because that will help you make decisions easier and it'll make your life so much better.
I agree. Like, we get so peer pressured in society into doing certain things at a certain timeline. And bro, like, just live your life and live in the now. One of my favorite quotes, I don't know if it's a quote, but something that I think about very often is something I've read. It's pick your lane and swim your race. So if there's a pool and there are 5 lanes, there can be a slow lane, a fast lane, a medium lane if that exists in an actual pool. But what is your lane, right?
Yeah.
Define it for yourself and then swim your own race.
Yes.
And ever since I acknowledged that thought in my brain, life has been so much better for me, because I'm not competing with anybody else but myself and just my life.
I love that.
Yeah. But the other thing to also think about is, I think about our parents or just older generations and the fact that they literally save their whole life. They spend on their children. They spend on their children's education. They don't spend on themselves. Rarely do they spend. If they have extra income, they'll just put it for a rainy day, keep it aside. And then once they retire, that's when they're like, okay, now we're going to travel. But when they retire, often their health won't let them travel the same way that you can when you're young. And they're not going to be going on sunrise treks when they're 50, 60 years old. They might. Yeah. And it'll be amazing if they do. But your body probably won't have the same kind of energy as when you are young. So you should make the most of everything your body allows you to do when you're young and do it. You know, in fact, one of my colleagues the other day, she was like, oh, she's from New Zealand. And she was like, oh, like I have to buy curtains for my house, or I can go to New Zealand to see my family for my birthday. And I was like, bro, just go. Like, don't overthink this. Just do it. No, because curtains are very expensive. They're like 2, 3K if you buy nice curtains, and she owns the house. And okay, so this is another thing that I've realized. If you own your own house, it comes with so many expenses that
True.
people underestimate. Anyway, that's beside the point. And I was like, just go. And then the next day I go to work and she's like, she put it on the board. She was like, Diva, thank you for inspiring me to book the tickets. And I was like, oh my God, I did one good thing for this person. Because, you know, your birthday that you spend with your family is going to be one for the books, and the curtains will come and go.
That's true.
So spend on that experience, because like you have one life.
Yeah. You know, I live my life, like I'm very passionate about this, like living
Yeah.
your life for the experiences. And I'm so passionate that sometimes I get goosebumps when I think about it. Like I make decisions in a manner that, oh, if I'm on my deathbed right now, right, will I be excited about the experience that I've had? I'll be like, oh, I've lived that. I've lived through it. It's so cool. Like I actually went through it. So it's so like I love it. And I also, you know what? I feel that as human beings, we are so privileged that we get the chance to live the life. We don't have to just pass through. Like we get the opportunity to savor every feeling and emotion that we get. Like no matter it's a heartbreak, no matter it's love, no matter it's friendship, no matter it's a positive or a negative connotation feeling or emotion, we get to live it. And we are so privileged that we have that ability as human beings. So why not use it, right? You get to experience every kind of emotion. It's cool.
I agree. You know, the sad thing, and maybe not always, but a lot of times these experiences come with a cost. There's a monetary factor to it, and it sucks. Sometimes it doesn't. Like this morning, I was laying in the park and enjoying all the sunshine in the world, and it was incredible. And that was free. But sometimes, if you want to travel somewhere, if you want to go attend a musical, which is $300, or you want to go attend a concert of somebody that, like, an artist that you've loved for a really long time, it unfortunately comes with a cost, but it's fine. It's just money, and money will come and go in life. That
True.
experience, that moment, the years will only go.
That's true.
So,
and I also feel like in terms of money, you can always earn more money. And if you have confidence in yourself that you can do it, then you are that person that it's okay if the money goes. I know that I can earn it back. Maybe it might take some while, but I know I can do it. So it's fine. So if you have that confidence in yourself, you'll be fine.
yeah, I agree. I actually like that thought a lot. Just, it's like, bro, I can do it.
I can figure it out.
I'll figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm smart enough.
Yeah. You know what? I also think that nowadays, because Gen Z are exposed to social media and we're always, like, it depends how you view social media, right? I have a very positive notion of social media because I think it has changed so many lives. It has made so many people aware of so many things. It has made so many people empowered, especially like women. I feel it's so good because like women didn't have access to so many things in the past, and hardly any occupation is women dominant. But I was watching this reel a few days ago and I was like, this woman was saying that influencer industry is the only industry where women are dominating it and earning so much money through it. And I was like, yeah, like if you think about it, it's so cool that women are being independent, just putting themselves out there. And I love that. I love it for them. Like, so good, right? So
Yeah.
basically the point is that nowadays that you have access to social media and all that stuff, it depends on you how you view it. But if you view it as a positive place, I feel it empowers and inspires a lot of young people to live in the moment as well. So it's great. Having said that though, I think there has to be a balance. Like you need to find your balance. How much of your money you want to put to invest in your present and how much you want to save for the future. And it can look different for you. It can look different for me, depending on what situation you're in your life, right? You just need to sit and figure out your priorities and then you need to figure out how much you need to invest in the present and how much you need to save for the future, and find your balance because it can be different for you. Yeah.
I fully agree. I fully agree. And that social media point is a good one because I think that people get influenced by others so easily as well, especially on social media. Like, you know, when the Eras tour was, the hype was real, Taylor Swift's tour,
Yeah.
it was insane. Every second person wanted to go to the tour. And I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie, but I grew up listening to Taylor Swift songs. And I really wanted to go for the tour just because I wanted to listen to Love Story live, okay?
Same.
But because social media influenced every single person, people spent $800, $1,000 just to go see Taylor Swift live, even if they didn't listen to Taylor Swift growing up. And I was like, you robbed me of this experience. But see, that's how people get influenced by social media as well. Anyway, at the end of the day, apparently it was an incredible concert and everybody enjoyed it. I didn't get to experience it, even though I spent 8 hours looking for tickets. Anyway, it's really about your priorities and what you want to do. And like Sanchi said, balance is key. Where do you want to spend your money? How much of it is for your present versus how much of it is for your future?
Yeah. Plus, I just really want to put it out that you figure it out as you go. It's not like a bulletproof situation where you would know 100% all the time. You will miss out on things and you will regret it later. It's fine. It's
True.
life. You move on. The point is you learn from it and then you know where to spend your money in the future. So yeah, you learn as you go. We are also learning as we are going. A lot of times we're like, oh shit. A lot of times we're like, oh great. I'm so happy that I spent on that experience. So it's fine.
Yeah, true. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode and tell us what you think in the place where it lets you leave a comment. Either on YouTube or on Spotify. I was like, what is it called? Show notes? It's not called show notes. Comment.
Yeah.
Leave a comment and tell us what you thought.
I would love for you to take a screenshot and put it on your story because it will help us grow, firstly, but also it will help inspire a lot of other people who are also struggling in their 20s to, just feel like they have a place where they belong. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.